They say a man can lose just about everything out here in the open plains. His cattle, his land, even his name. But if he loses his heart, that's when the desert really starts to eat him alive. My name's Eli Granger. Folks used to call me Riverhand because I ran my ranch right along the crooked bend of the Willow River, a strip of water mean enough to drown a horse and quiet enough to fool a man into thinking he's safe. That's where it all started, and where it all damn near ended. It was spring, or what passes for it out here. The river just started to thaw, and the smell of wet dirt and cedar hung in the air. I was riding out alone, checking fence lines, when I saw something strange by the riverbank. A colt, no taller than my saddle horn, standing knee-deep in mud, staring at the water. He wasn't moving. "Just staring. I pulled up slow, whistled once." He didn't flinch. That's when I saw it. A broken rope hanging from his neck, frayed to hell, and a patch of dried blood on his shoulder. He'd been chained. To what? Or by who? I couldn't tell. But the look in his eyes, Lord, I'll never forget. Fear, hunger, and something else. Hope, maybe. The kind that don't make sense. Took me near half an hour to earn his trust enough to get close. The poor thing shook like a leaf. I talked to him the way my pa used to talk to scared horses. Soft, steady, like I was trying to talk time itself into slowing down. Finally, he let me lay a hand on him. "Easy there, boy," I told him. "Ain't no one gonna hurt you no more." I named him Dusty that very moment. Don't know why, maybe because that's all he was. Dust and bones hanging onto life by a whisper. Took him back to the ranch, wrapped him in an old wool blanket, fed him oats from my own hand. He didn't eat much. Didn't drink much either. Just kept staring out the window toward the river, like he was waiting for something. Couple days later, I went back to the spot where I'd found him. The mud had dried, and under a half-buried log, I found something glinting. It was a tin locket, old rusted shut, but inside was a piece of folded paper. On it, written in smudged pencil, were 4 words. "He'll wait by the river." My gut turned cold. Who the hell left that? And what were they waiting for? Days turned into weeks. Dusty healed up some, but never lost that faraway look. Every sunset, he'd wander to the fence line and face the river, ears twitching, tail still. I'd call him back in, but he'd stay till dark. Sometimes I'd swear I heard something, a distant neigh maybe, or the wind carrying a voice. Then one night I woke to the sound of hooves. Not his. These were heavier, faster. By the time I got my lantern and stepped outside, Dusty was gone. I tracked him by moonlight. The river shimmered silver under the stars, and I followed his prints till they vanished near the old bridge, the one folks said was cursed. The boards were rotted, half fallen, but there in the mud was a second set of tracks, bigger, fresh, and right beside him, something that stopped my heart cold. A woman's. Scarf, torn, wet, smelled like lavender. My late wife used to wear lavender. I hadn't spoken her name in 5 years. But right there, staring at that scarf, I swore I heard her voice on the wind, whispering my name. The wind cut through the valley like it carried ghosts. Maybe it did. I'd buried Mary 5 winters back after the fever took her. Or so I thought. But that lavender scent hanging in the dark, it was hers. And that scarf? I'd mended that tear myself the night before she passed, so either the past had learned to walk again, or someone wanted me to think it had. I lit my lantern and stepped onto the bridge. The boards moaned beneath me like tired men in prayer. Down below, the river whispered secrets to the stones. "Dusty?" I called. "Boy, you out there?" A soft whinny answered back, then silence. I edged forward till I saw him on the far bank, mane glinting silver under the moon. He wasn't alone. Beside him stood a taller horse, white as frost, eyes dark as coal. The wind picked up, carried that lavender smell again. My throat locked. "Mary," I breathed. The white mare stamped once, snorted and turned downstream. Dusty followed. Before I could think, I was in the saddle riding after him. They led me 5 miles through cottonwood and sage till the path split at the river bend. There, hidden behind a wall of reeds, sat an old trapper's cabin, half sunk, roof caved, but smoke curled lazy from its chimney. I dismounted slow, drew my revolver. "Who's there?" A voice answered, raspy, old but human. You found the colt, didn't you? Out stepped a man in a duster coat, beard white as bone. His eyes flickered in the lamplight like he'd seen too many winters. Name's Silas, he said. Been waiting on you. He poured 2 cups of coffee thick enough to patch a roof and sat opposite me. That colt, he said, belonged to a woman came riding through here last spring. Said she was looking for a ranch called Willow River. My stomach nodded. That's my place, Silas nodded. She didn't make it that far. River flooded sudden. Horse got spooked, threw her. I pulled her out, near dead. She kept muttering. One thing before she passed. He'll wait by the river. He slid a small tin across the table, the same kind I'd found in the mud. She said the man who finds this will know what it means. I opened it. Inside was a photograph. Mary, me, and a newborn colt standing by that same river bend years ago. My hand shook so bad the cup spilled. Where'd you bury her? Silas looked toward the window. Didn't bury her. The river took her again that night. Just like it brought that colt back to you. The wind outside rose to a howl. Thunder crawled over the mountains. The horses screamed. River's rising, Silas muttered. Happens once a decade. Time to move, but I wasn't leaving. Not without answers. I ran outside. Dusty was thrashing, trying to break free from the hitching post. Beyond him, that white mare stood calm as stone, staring right at me. Then she turned and bolted toward the river. Dusty tore loose and chased her. Mary, I yelled. Boots pounding the mud as the first wave hit. Water hit cold and hard, near knocked me off my feet. Lightning flashed, and for a blink I saw the 2 horses midstream, white and brown, fighting the current side by side. I dove in after 'em. The current grabbed me, spun me, dragged me under. When I surfaced, I caught Dusty's bridle and clung for dear life. The white mare was gone. Just gone. I hauled Dusty to shore, both of us shivering, coughing up half the river. Then I saw it. Something glinting between the rocks. Mary's wedding ring. Slipped on a twig like someone had placed it there, gentle. I dropped to my knees. The sky cracked open. I didn't know if I was crying or if the rain just took over. Dusty pressed his head against my shoulder, breath warm, steady. And I swear on my ranch that for a second, I smelled lavender again. The morning came slow, gray and heavy. The air smelled like wet cedar and regret. I'd spent the night sitting by the riverbank, Mary's ring tight in my fist. Didn't sleep. Didn't move. Didn't want to. Silas was gone. His cabin gone too. Not a trace. All that was left was Dusty, and that damn river flowing quiet like it hadn't tried to drown me the night before. I finally stood up, knees stiff as wood, and noticed something odd. Hoof prints. 2 sets. One from Dusty, and one from that white mare, fresh. They led east, away from the river, into the Badlands. I didn't think twice. Grabbed my saddlebag, slung it over Dusty, and followed. The sun broke through the clouds as we rode, just enough light to turn the mud to gold. Every step echoed that lavender whisper in my head. He'll wait by the river. But maybe the message wasn't for me. Maybe it was from her. By noon, the trail curved into a canyon folks around here used to call the Rattler's Spine. The walls were red and twisted like the earth itself was in pain. No birds, no wind. Just silence heavy enough to choke on. Dusty started acting strange, ears twitching, eyes rolling. Then he stopped dead. A head half buried in dust and vines sat a wooden wagon. Broken axle. Bullet holes in the side. I climbed down, ran my hand over the wood. Still faintly warm from the sun. Inside the wagon, bones, small ones, human. And beside him, a satchel with my ranch's brand burned into the leather. My blood ran cold. Mary. Pause beat. Long silence. Inside the satchel were papers, deeds, maps, and one old letter. It was from her. If you're reading this, it means I couldn't make it home. The man who sold us that land wasn't who he said he was. There's gold under Willow River. He'll come for it. Don't trust anyone from town. The letter ended with 3 words. Protect the colt. The sound came before the shadow. Horse hooves. Riding fast. I ducked behind the wagon. A rider appeared at the canyon mouth. Black coat. Silver badge. Rifle across his saddle. Sheriff Kane. You've been busy? West, he called, grinning like a coyote. We got ourselves a mess downriver. Flood took the bridges. Folks say they saw your wife's ghost riding through the valley. Any truth to that? I kept my hand near the gun. You tell me, Sheriff. You were the one who sold me that land. His smile faded. Now that ain't exactly how I remember it. Funny, I said. Mary remembered it just fine. He reached for his rifle. Dusty screamed and kicked, distracting him just long enough for me to draw. 2 shots, 1 echo, then silence. Slow breath, reverb echo in the canyon. Kane fell off his horse, dust rising like smoke from a grave. I walked over, eyes never leaving his. You buried her out here, didn't you? He coughed blood. Should have stayed by the river, West. Some ghosts don't forgive. His hand twitched. He was reaching for something. I kicked it away. A small pouch spilled open. Gold dust, glittering in the sunlight. The truth hit me hard. Mary hadn't died from fever. She'd been hunted. By the time I got back to the river, the sky was turning black again. Dusty limped beside me. Tired but steady. I rode till nightfall and stopped near the willow tree where we used to sit. Me, Mary, and that colt. I tied the pouch of gold to a stone and threw it into the river. Ain't nothing worth more than her, I muttered. The wind rose, whistling through the branches like a woman humming soft. Lavender filled the air again, stronger this time, and through the fog, the white mare appeared. She stepped forward slow, breath misting, eyes reflecting the firelight. I dropped to one knee, whispered, "Mary!" She lowered her head, touched her muzzle to my shoulder, then turned toward the river and stopped. Behind her, for the first time in years, I saw her, Mary herself, clear as moonlight, standing barefoot in the shallows. She smiled that same smile I fell for 20 years ago. "You kept your promise," she said. Then she was gone. The mare vanished with her, only the river remained, whispering peace. Dawn came soft and silver over the plains. I hadn't slept, not after what I'd seen. The river had gone quiet again. Calm, like it had finally told its story. I saddled Dusty slow. He was breathing heavy, old bones creaking like a porch swing in the wind. We'd both seen too much to be the same again, but sometimes a man doesn't ride to escape. He rides to remember. The trail home was long and cracked like a memory. Every mile was a ghost, fences half fallen. Barns caved in. What used to be a ranch was now just dust and echoes. I dismounted, walked up to the front porch, and put my hand on that old cedar door. The wood was soft, worn down by years of rain and loss. I stepped inside, and there it was, Mary's shawl, still hanging from the nail by the window. Sunlight hit it just right, and for a second it looked like it was moving, like she was there. I didn't cry. I just stood there, hat in hand, whispering to the air, "You can rest now, darling." I found the truth. Dusty snorted outside, soft, low. I turned and saw something in the distance, a shape moving through the mist, small, graceful. The colt. Not just any colt, Mary's colt. Grown now, tall and proud. Its mane glinting gold in the sunrise. I walked toward it slow. It didn't run. Just stood there, breathing calm, eyes like it knew me. I reached out, ran my fingers along its neck, and felt that same warmth I used to feel when Mary held my hand. "You made it, kid," I said. "You're all that's left of us." It bowed its head, like it understood, and for the first time in years, I smiled. A few weeks passed. Word spread about the sheriff's body found near Rattler's Spine. The town called it a shootout gone wrong. Nobody asked me questions. Nobody dared. I fixed the ranch up slow, one nail. One board, one quiet sunrise at a time. Then, one morning, a rider came from the valley. Young man. Had too big for his head, eyes full of hunger and hope. "You West?" he asked. "That's right. Heard you're looking for hands." "Name's Eli. I studied him a long while. Same fire I used to have when I was his age. You ride?" "Like I was born to." "Then saddle up. There's fences need mending and ghosts need resting." He grinned. "Ghosts?" I smiled back. "You'll see." Music swells. Harmonica joins in soft. That evening, clouds gathered again. Thunder rolled across the plains. Heavy and deep, Eli ran out to bring the herd in, but I just stood by the porch, staring at the horizon. I wasn't afraid of storms anymore. I knew now. They weren't punishments. They were reminders, proof that the land was alive, that love leaves marks that never wash away. I took off my hat, let the rain fall, and whispered one last time. You rest easy now. Mary, the river's done taken. The thunder rolled back, soft this time, like an answer. And I swear I saw her, just for a breath, ride in that white mare through the storm. Head held high, free. Years passed. The ranch came back to life. Eli took over most of the work. But I still rode out every morning, me, Dusty, and that colt, now strong and wild. Folks from town started calling the place Willow River Ranch, said the grass grew greener there, said the storms always broke gentle. I never argued. Maybe the land forgave us. Maybe she did too. All I know is, when the wind blows from the north and the lavender's in bloom, I can still hear her voice in the river. And it don't sound like sorrow anymore. It sounds like home. This land don't belong to no man. It belongs to the ones who loved it enough to stay. That's the story of the Willow River, and the man who finally learned to let it rest.